Now, Kevin O'Sullivan and I have been mates for a very long time, and as long as I've known him, he's always had a pet. He's always had a dog, sometimes more than one, but he's never had any kids. Kevin, Pope says you're selfish, mate.
Yeah, that's me he's talking about, Your Holiness. I think this is outrageous. This is none of his business how married couples choose to live their lives. And this is the kind of declaration that will not do either the Holy Father or the Catholic Church any favours at all. And I say that with all due respect to the Catholic Church and to the Pope. But this time he's crossed the line. No, don't tell me whether or not I've got to have children. And if I don't have children, I'm selfish. And if I do have dogs, as you say, my whole life, or most of my adult life, I've been married and I've had dogs, but never kids.
Right. But you are quite a selfish guy, though, Kevin. I mean, you might as well admit it. This is now, for me,
fair point.
This is now absolute utter confirmation from His Holiness. And I'm a good Catholic boy. I was raised a Catholic, went to Catholic school and everything. I've given up saying the Hail Mary, I must say. But nevertheless, he has kind of nailed it, I think, for me. Because, you are, and you don't mind admitting it, that you are selfish.
Well, yeah, I'm a sort of self-centered kind of a guy. However, in terms of me not being selfish, unlike Boris Johnson, and if you don't mind me saying so, Mike, yes. I'm trying to save the planet from overpopulation.
Yes.
Well, I suppose the Boris Johnson of journalism, mate.
I suppose you might say
turning out kids left, right, and centre for years.
I mean, the only person who knows even less about having kids than you is the Pope. I mean, he's never even tried to make one, has he?
Well, one would hope not, put it that way. But seriously, I mean, I do think he's overstepped the mark there. I mean, there will be many Catholics around the world who will be rather offended by this intrusion.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm tempted to say, who does he think he is? But he does have a very high moral position. So that's not a valid thing to say.
Well, yeah. I mean, the great thing about being the Pope is if somebody says to you, who do you think you are? God's representative on earth or something? Went, well, actually, yeah, I am,
Yeah. Who do you think you are? The Pope?
Yeah.
Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, you are. But seriously, I just don't think he thought this through.
No.
It's an extraordinary thing to say.
It really is. But, there'll be lots of people who are Catholic who like what the Pope has to say normally. They'll be sitting around, maybe because they couldn't have kids, thinking, this is awful. He's making me feel really bad. He's making people feel guilty, which is not what you're meant to do if you're the head of the Catholic Church, is it?
Exactly. I mean, I spotted this story myself this morning. I'm going to cover this tonight. And I thought, I'll do it as a jokey kind of a piece. But no, I'm not going to do it like that. I want to get a serious representative of the Catholic Church on to talk about it seriously. Because your instant response to it is sort of comedy. This is hilariously stupid.
Yes.
But actually, you should take it seriously because the Pope is an important man and it is his job to make these moral declarations. And on this occasion, I think he's very, very wrong. But as I say, I've got to stress, I say this with the utmost respect for the Pope and the Catholic Church. But he's got this one wrong, old Francis, I'm afraid.
Well, apparently, here's another bit of info for you. Apparently, he doesn't own a pet himself, which might tell you something about him. His predecessor, Pope Benedict XVI, was a big fan of cats.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Really?
I don't think that means the musical by Andrew Lloyd Webber. I think it means he had quite a lot of them. But I can't imagine the Vatican really being full of animals. Can you?
No, just because you remember that Francis at one point in his reign went out for a walk on the streets of Rome.
Yeah.
Which is a very unusual thing to do. He just went out with a couple of his mates,
right?
And was soon surrounded by a massive crowd of adorers.
Yeah.
But he is a person who tries to reach out to the people, and I like that. But I'm just trying to envisage in my mind the sight of the Pope wandering through the streets of Rome with a dog on a lead.
Walking a dog, yeah.
Ring true, does it?
Well, I think you might give up the job if you introduce him to Chasbo, who would no doubt wreak havoc inside of His Holiness's
my dog
abode.
Chasbo. Your Holiness, do you think you can save this dog's soul? No way.
Absolutely not. What else you got coming up tonight, Kev?
Well, I want to ask, you've been doing this story quite rightly all morning, mate. I want to ask, why on earth are the Somerset and Avon police not appealing this ludicrous decision to acquit the Colston Four, rather than supinely saying, we respect
yes.
decision. This is the same police force that when they were committing this criminal damage, it was criminal damage. The cops stood back and respectfully let them do this. If we're going to have a police force that doesn't respect the law, then we are going to hell in a handcart. We really are.
I know, it's absolutely ridiculous. But this is what I said, you know, Bristol is effectively now the Wild West. And they used the superintendent's quote in the courtroom as defence for them because he said they did the right thing. That's great, isn't it?
We cannot have this. We cannot have, you know, it's like with me saying, you know, did you murder that guy? Yeah, I did, but he's
a bad guy.
He's connected to slavery.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. You're acquitted. This is lawlessness. It is madness. It is a state falling apart at the seams. If you can't have the rule of law and you can't have the courts enforcing the rule of law, where the hell are we heading? This is just getting absolutely ridiculous. And by the way, in terms of what I've got coming up tonight as well, I'm going to touch on another story that you're talking about, the border force.
Oh, yeah.
So we're now in a situation where the border force, essentially employees of the Home Secretary, are actively going to defy her and take her to court because she says, would you mind trying to stop the migrants coming into this country? No, we won't. No. This is, again, is absurd. This country, if we don't get this stuff into check, we're going to be in big trouble. This is sort of insurrection.
It's absolutely mad. Absolutely mad.